You know exactly what you need to do, but you just can't get yourself to do it. Hours pass, days slip away, and that task stays untouched. But what if I told you the problem isn't your motivation, it's your mindset? In a few minutes, I'll show you a simple shift that forces you into action even when you don't feel like it. Because if you don't change this now, you'll keep watching your potential slip through your fingers. 1. The power of taking action. There exists a fundamental misunderstanding about success. A belief that one must first be inspired to act. This is a fatal misconception. Success is not reserved for those who wait for motivation. Rather, it belongs to those who cultivate the discipline to act, regardless of their emotional state. The truth is simple. Motivation follows movement. It is not the cause of action, but the effect. Many believe they must feel ready before they embark on their journey toward success. They wait for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, or a surge of inspiration that may never arrive. This hesitation is the primary reason so many fail to achieve their goals. The successful, however, operate differently. They understand that action precedes clarity. By taking the first step, they uncover the path forward. Each action reveals new opportunities and insights that were previously hidden in the fog of inaction. A young man once sought financial success, but found himself trapped by hesitation. He studied, prepared, and strategized, yet his plans remained unexecuted. He waited for inspiration to strike, believing that only then would he possess the confidence to proceed. But the truth is, confidence is built through action. It is not a prerequisite, but a result. One cannot think their way into success. They must act their way into it. History is replete with examples of men who acted boldly despite uncertainty. Thomas Edison did not wait for inspiration to perfect the electric light bulb. He experimented relentlessly, allowing each failure to bring him closer to success. Henry Ford did not hesitate until the automobile industry proved profitable. He acted with conviction and reshaped the world. The defining trait of these men was not their ability to summon motivation, but their willingness to act in its absence. When a man acts, he engages with reality in a way that thought alone never allows. He sees what works, what does not, and what must be adjusted. Each step taken eliminates doubt and replaces it with knowledge. In contrast, the man who waits for motivation remains stagnant, ensnared in the web of overthinking and self-doubt. The biggest challenge is always the first step, the initial resistance. Whether in business, personal development, or any endeavor, feels insurmountable. But the moment one pushes past it, the force of momentum takes over. The mind rewards movement with clarity and conviction. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. A salesman who hesitates before making his first call finds himself paralyzed by fear. But if he forces himself to dial the number, something remarkable happens. The fear diminishes, his confidence grows, and with each subsequent call, the process becomes easier. He did not wait for motivation, he acted, and motivation followed. The principle applies universally. The entrepreneur who launches his venture without complete certainty, the writer who begins before inspiration strikes, the speaker who takes the stage despite nerves, all succeed not because they felt ready, but because they refused to let inaction dictate their fate. The path to success is not illuminated by motivation, it is carved by disciplined action. The man who masters this truth understands that waiting is the enemy of progress. He acts whether he feels like it or not, knowing that motivation will always catch up to those already moving. 2, overcoming fear and doubt. Fear is the enemy of progress. It stands like a shadow at the threshold of every great endeavor, whispering doubts into our ears. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? It murmurs, planting seeds of hesitation in our minds. But here's the truth. Fear is a liar. Most of what we fear never actually happens. And even if it does, so what? Failure is not the end. It is merely a stepping stone on the path to success. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than they can count. The difference between them and those who remain paralyzed by fear? They kept moving forward. They refused to let fear dictate their actions. They understood that progress is born from action, not from endless contemplation. The first step is always the hardest, but it is also the most crucial. Taking that step, even while afraid, is what separates the achievers from the dreamers. Fear shrinks when you move toward it. It thrives in the unknown, growing in power the longer you hesitate. But the moment you take action, its grip weakens. This is because courage isn't the absence of fear. It is taking action despite fear. Think about the worst-case scenario. Can you handle it? The answer is almost always yes. Human beings are far more resilient than they give themselves credit for. Most failures are recoverable. Most mistakes can be corrected. And in the rare case that things go truly wrong, the experience still provides valuable lessons that pave the way for future success. Fear feeds on hesitation. The longer you wait, the stronger it becomes. That's why procrastination is fear's greatest ally. The mind magnifies the imagined consequences of failure, making them seem insurmountable. But the only way to beat fear is to act immediately. Action is the antidote to fear. Even small, consistent actions begin to dissolve it. Every step forward, no matter how small, chips away at the illusion of fear's power. Think of fear as a wall that seems unscalable at first glance. From a distance, it appears intimidating, impenetrable. But as you approach it, you begin to see the cracks. And when you take action, when you start climbing, it turns out the wall was never as high as it seemed. Fear is like that. It deceives you into believing that